What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. As always, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That enables us to keep coming to y'all as often as possible with as many interviews as possible. So please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share, talk about it, be about it, each one, teach one. And we appreciate your support in getting us this far. And if you haven't already, right next to that is the join for our memberships. So please hit that too to support us in that way to help us keep growing and developing in many different ways with new shows and different ideas. So please support us by subscribing and joining our membership. Now, today, we have the honor and the privilege of being joined by Awesome Dre from Awesome Dre and the Hardcore Committee, among many other things. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, son. I appreciate it, man. Unique Access, man. It's a blessing, man, to be here talking to you, man. You talked to how many thousand artists, man?
I've interviewed a few people over the years, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. A lot of my favorites, some of my best friends, some of my idols, people that I man, yeah, look up to, learn a lot about it too by listening to these interviews.
Yeah, well, thank you, and thanks for being part of it, man. Shout out to EC, of course, for connecting us. EC Illa, thank you.
Illa, Chicago.
Yes. So speaking of Midwest and different things, Awesome Dre and the Hardcore Committee was the first rap group I ever knew of, heard of, had any inkling of from Detroit, and I wanted to know the Just Chillin' records with Hardcore, Dina Rap, My Little Friend was the first I had heard of you, which I assume was the 88 era. Now, was that the first songs you had put out, or was that?
Yeah, those songs came out in 87. Hardcore, My Little Friend, and Dina Rap, we recorded those in Detroit over here on Grand River. Like I said, Just Chillin' Studios, Ivan Ill. My brother Fonzo, actually the one who hooked me up with Ivan Ill, you know what I'm saying? That was his man. And so we was hustling, trying to get in the studio. And then Fonzo, aka Alki Records brother, he hooked me up with Ivan. And actually I rapped the first verse of Hardcore to Rebel Without a Pause instrumental to him over the phone. And he was like, oh man, that's cold, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, whatever you want to do, let's get in the studio. And so it started from that point. And, you know, the rest is history, as they say. That was like I say, 87. The earlier part of, no, that was late. Yeah, it was late 87. And then when we first put those three records together for the first 12-inch, Hardcore, Dina Rap, and My Little Friend, which of course, My Little Friend was based off of this, you know, Scarface line, you know what I mean? That was one of our favorite movies. So this was just a few years after that. Scarface came out, I think, 83. We put that out like 87. So yeah, I had My Little Friend.
Yeah, the Scarface movie is a recurring theme in the early part of your career. So we'll bring that up a few different times. But I was intrigued because as I was growing up and as I learned more and understood more with the house in Detroit, was it hard for you to convince people that you could be, should be, or even to yourself, like, oh man, how am I going to break out a house being from Detroit? Or what was that like?
You saying house music?
Yeah.
No, even though Detroit is a techno city. Chicago is more house, like New York, I call it club, but it's but Detroit is techno capital.
You're right. I misspoke, but yes.
Or Belleville to be specific, but we'll get all deep off into that, man. Detroit is a dance music city. I mean, at that time, you know, when we were coming up, you can go back and say whenever we was R&B, gospel, rock and roll, we're all of that. Detroit is a music city. You know, we have the best at everything: blues, gospel, rock, hip hop. I don't know. We have some very good reggae artists, but I don't know if any. I can't compare them to ones that already didn't blew up. So I don't want to just say reggae. But even though it's a whole lot of talented reggae artists in Detroit too. But remind me what I'm saying, because I just forgot.
Why wasn't a big deal for you to come out as a rapper at the time?
Oh, yeah, I mean, and like I said, I was 87. I had already been like deep in hip hop for several years. Like I say, being a b-boy. I mean, ever since like 80, you know what I'm saying? Like dancing and like, I'm just saying, waterway, popping. You know, we was doing all of this before breakdance, then breakdance and all this. and I'm drawing, you know what I mean? I wasn't graffitiing on the wall, but I was drawing, like making the flyers for the hip hop groups, you know, making a full length Playboy Bunny, you know, with all of the accessories on them, you know, with all their names around there for the talent shows and stuff like that. Meanwhile, we was winning all of the talent shows dancing, but it wasn't hard because it wasn't like I was the only one. You know, at this time, you know, everyone was trying to get in the studio, be a rapper. You know, everyone couldn't afford it back then because it was stupid, you know, ridiculously expensive. You know, you had to record on half-inch reels and stuff like that, cost a couple $100 just for the reel. You know what I'm saying? Then you get in there and they milking the clock on you, you know, charge you to run the Simply track, and you don't know what's going on. You're just in there happy to be in there, but this shit is costing a whole lot of money per hour, and you don't really know what you're doing. You're at the mercy of whoever, you know, engineer or studio that you're at. But so it's like it wasn't hard because it was something that we love already at that point, and we were doing it for free. You know what I mean? So we was getting a chance, the opportunity to try to make it in the studio, to try to get a record to make money. That was just like it was just like putting a fire up under us. You know what I'm saying? We had motivation for it. So like I say, it wasn't just me. Like this is a t-shirt, Frank Allen hoodie. He got some of classic Detroit hip hop artists on here. My brother DJ Los, the original Free Xzibit, Smiley, Boss ain't on here, but I've got to mention Boss, Esham, myself, AWOL, rest in peace B, rest in peace DJ Homicide, rest in peace BDF and AWOL. We got Chaos and Maestro. We got my man's Detroit's Most Wanted. All of us, you know, Mercer's Amir, Champtown, Jack Frost. Man, it's a whole list of people that was out at the same time that we were out. And we all come up together at the same time. So, you know, we were just fortunate enough to get a deal at the time, you know, that got us a little more exposure. There was a few deals out back then. Prince Ben's and the Hip Hop Force, they got a deal, you know. Detroit Most Wanted had their deal. I mean, you know, we were doing different things back then. So like I said, it really wasn't hard, and the city embraced us because they was ready for it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we were competing or taking a place of techno or that scene or anything like that. It was all still a part of it. You know what I mean? So like I say, I come from a dance background, and I'm always going to be a dancer, you know, a b-boy too, and it goes hand in hand. And so it's you know, the music, like Detroit, the dance, like one of the best the dances that we do here is called a jig. So it's you know, it's upbeat, high, you know, very fast tempo. You moving everything, your whole body, your feet, your legs, you're getting on the floor, you're getting up, you're doing all type of creative stuff. You dance was very fast, and so like I say, it wasn't nothing. The only thing, it was like we had the only like blocks that we would get really was like kind of through the industry, because they wasn't ready to, it wasn't accepted back then. It was just still like a little side thing, a little hobby thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing they took for, you know, for serious that they thought they could make money off of. It wasn't market, it wasn't corporate or anything like that. They were predicting that it would play out in the next couple of years. So they didn't really want to, it wasn't proven. We had to prove ourselves, you know, in the street. So you go to the radio station, they say, well, we can't play it on the radio because they're not playing it in the clubs. And you go to clubs and say, well, we can't play in the club. They don't have this in the record store. You know, we play it, they can't go buy it. You go to the record store and they say, well, we can't put this in there. Ain't nobody, it ain't on the radio. You know, nobody want to come by. They were like, what's this, a vicious cycle? You know what I mean? Somebody give me a break. But, you know, so it was kind of hard convincing those type of people, but the city and the people, they was ready for it. Everybody had their own group from their own neighborhood that they was, you know, backing and supporting. And, you know, like I say, we had competition, but it was like, it was really like a friendly competition back then. It wasn't a lot of hatred type of, you know, crab in a barrel, dog eat dog. We all did the same shows together. Rappers Ball, you know, Piccolo, shout out Piccolo. He, you know, put together shows and award shows for all of us, Michigan Achievement Awards and things like that, where he recognized all of us. And like I say, we was getting exposed on a local TV show here, the New Dance Show, which came after the scene, which is on WGPR. It's like the oldest and the first Black-owned radio and TV station in America. They was giving us a lot of exposure. So yeah, man, it wasn't really hard, man. it was fun. It was something new, different. You know what I mean? We was grinding back then, man. So it was totally different, you know, without all of the social media, you know, and the internet and all of that. It's totally different. We was strictly in the streets.
Yeah. And I remember with hardcore in particular, the song, there you had a lot of alliteration there right at the top of the song. What made you go so hard with that right off the top?
That was a signature back then. It was like we all did intros, you know what I'm saying? Like talk a little shit before the record, you know, talk a little shit after the record, or maybe give shout outs or whatever. But that was just one of my signatures, you know, say some shit, you know, kind of sweet at the beginning and then lead off into what you was about to say. And I don't know, I might have to start doing that again, man, because that it was kind of hype.
No, that was
a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's like you know, you introducing yourself, you know, with a sweet ass, you know, intro. Like I say, whatever, just use whatever, however you want to do it. But yeah, I might have to do that again for all time's sake on one of these new joints.
now hardcore. You also sample LL Cool J Rock the Bells, which is ironic coming up later in your career. But I wanted you to speak on, even in Detroit, the significance of LL Rock the Bells in that era and what he meant to you coming up in Detroit.
Well, like I say, when I first heard LL, I was living in Akron when Crush Groove came out. We all went to the movies. I was like in my teens or whatever. We was all in there. Everybody, the whole school, the whole hood, everybody, you know, everybody was going to Crush Groove coming out. It was sold out. And so he took over, you know what I'm saying? And his run was like, it's still going on. I ain't gonna just say his run over, but I mean, the run that he had back then and came up so quick to be so young, he's the GOAT. That's what they call him. You know what I'm saying? He's self-proclaimed, but then hey, they had people that have to they had to agree with him. You know what I mean? Because that's how we all feel. We all feel like we the best, we the greatest. That's what it was. That's how MCs are. You know what I'm saying? If you don't consider yourself the best, why are you doing this? For what? You know. But now LL is I mean, he represents hip hop like nothing else. You had two DJ. You know what I'm saying? These people out, they don't even have one DJ. But yeah, man, much love to LL. Like I say, hey, I had to go at him. Who else I'm gonna go at? He was the best at the time. What I'm gonna go try to fight the man, the man that ain't won nothing, knock him out? No, I'm going for the gusto. I went for LL. So man, LL, he got love all over the world. So you know, that's enough said about him.
Yeah. And also on this 12-inch, you had Dean of Rap. And I was always intrigued with that song, especially musically, sonically, because I don't know if it's true, but I've always been wanting to ask you. It seemed like it had a Schoolie D influence with the congas and some of the sounds and stuff. Was
Well,
that?
I have Schoolie D influence. Just let me put it that way. I don't know what the detective Kreisberg was thinking about when he put that beat together. I didn't guide him at that point. We were just happy to be there on that first project. We didn't get into producing stuff until a little later. But I'm glad that you mentioned Schoolie D. I was on tour with them with the Hip Hop Guys Classic Tour Fest review 10 years ago, actually, around this time, 10 years ago, with Public Enemy and X Clan and Moni Love and Dinko D and Wise Intelligent and DJ Johnny Juice and Davey DMX. Man, oh my God. What up, though, E? But man, that was the best tour I ever had in my life. But Schoolie D is, man, it's like words can't even describe that brother. You know what I mean? How we used to listen to him and the influence that he had over us back like when we was in high school. You know what I'm saying? High school, possibly junior. I think that was maybe junior high. No, around 9th, 10th grade, something like that, when he first started dropping, because like I say, that was unheard of back then to be talking crazy like that on the record. He had his own shit. We didn't really get in, you know, we didn't understand having your own record label or no shit like that back when we was in high school, but that's what he did. He did that.
He had Schoolie D records.
Schoolie D records, flat out. Drawing all of the artwork, you know what I'm saying? Getting, you know, doing it, man, as a full-fledged artist, man. But yeah, when we was on tour with him, man, just even 10 years ago, man, every night it was like being like, man, I couldn't believe it. Everybody sitting there in awe, listening to him do these classic hits that he doing, man. Saturday Night, PSK, all of that, man. Like it's, yeah. So now he's one of my influences, period, on hip hop. I just listening to him and just, wanting to do these things like that, man. I mean, it goes back, man. I go back all the way to like, listening to the Cold Crush brothers, the Cold Crush Four, the Fantastic Five, Whipping them brothers, man. Listening to them back when I was a little kid and grew up. Now me and Whip, we like this. That's my brother. It's crazy. Melly Mel, I grew up listening to these guys. I got a couple songs with him now. It's like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop will make your dreams come true in a lot of different ways. It's not really all about money all the time. I wish it was. I need that money too. But just the people that I've met, the friends that I've made over these years, man, and still making, and opportunities and doors to be opening just through this music. It's just, it's unbelievable, man.
Absolutely. I'm gonna have to send this to you and also find another picture. That's where I first met you, because I was at the LA show for the
Oh man, you already know. You witnessed the greatness, man.
I was at the LA show. I got to get that to you.
And the LA show was wow, man. There was so many people there, man. It was like a star-studded event. And that was the last day of the show, last tour date of the show. And yeah, man, that been 10 years ago, man. That's crazy. 10 years, man. I can't believe it went by that fast, man.
It goes fast. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Older you get.
So after you had the hardcore 12-inch, you had the Lame Loser, I Don't Like You, but you had switched, and I always am so interested, from the Just Chillin' to Jorlands records. So what was the difference? Why did you leave? Why did you switch?
Well, when we went to Just Chillin', Ivan and Joint, they financed that. But we were all rookies in the music game. So when we went into the studio and they paid for the studio time and everything, we wanted to get the record out, everything went up under the Just Chillin' label, because that was the home label of the studio that we were recording at. So, like I said, we didn't know anything about anything. We just knew that he had a studio. It was a record store, and he had a studio in the back of the record store. So even though it said Just Chillin', Ivan and Joint, they paid for everything. They financed that record, but they didn't know at the time. They didn't have a company. So by the time we did our second 12-inch, they formed their company, and we found out about getting our publishing and things like that. And so they put it out on Jorlands after that first Just Chillin' project. Even though, like I say, Just Chillin', they facilitated there. And like even when we met Corey Blake at the studio there at Wonderlove. It was called Wonderlove Records on Grand River and Coyle. And after that, Ivan hired Corey to come work at our studio. Well, Corey had a studio in his basement as well that he was working out of, but Ivan built the studio, North Lake Studios, over on the east side on Van Dyke near 8 Mile, and hired Corey to come be the engineer at that studio. And we started recording up there. And Kid Rock, he was recording some of his first that Grit Sandwiches for Breakfast album. He recorded a lot of different tracks and stuff up there back in the day before he got before he blew up. I think it was before the Jive deal. It might have been right after, somewhere around there. But yeah, he was recording up there before back in the day too. But yeah, so it really wasn't a switch because from day one, Ivan and Joint were the executive producers.
Okay.
Yeah, so they just got their own label for the second 12-inch, third.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for
just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Young TV back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The history of gangster rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The history of gangster rap in stores now.